Looking larger than life with each masterful performance, Dan Marino guided the Miami Dolphins into the AFC Championship game with sights set on a coveted berth in Super Bowl 19. Visions of Palo Alto grew clear when Marino spotted Mark Clayton streaking down the sidelines. While Clayton easily beat his defenders on this 40-yard touchdown, the Steelers knew the only way they could beat Miami would be to control the ball and keep Marino on the sidelines. The game plan was to ram the ball down the Dolphins' throats and watch their defense choke like Denver's did the previous week. Pittsburgh did indeed chew up the clock and pile up the rushing yardage en route to number 24, Rich Ehrenberg's 7-yard run, to tie the score at 7 apiece. Ehrenberg held tightly to the ball as he burst up the middle. But when his Dolphin counterpart, Tony Nathan, took a Marino strike over the middle, number 22 didn't have the same success. Actually, turnovers plagued both teams in the first half, with the ball being coughed up 6 times. When Miami put pressure on quarterback Mark Malone, you could be sure an errant pass would soon follow. Number 47, Glenn Blackwood, made Malone awfully sorry he threw the ball, as well as 2 others which were also picked off in the first 2 periods. Even when the quarterback received solid pass protection, he was victimized by an alert Dolphin secondary, which turned intercepting the ball into a family affair. Malone must have thought he was seeing double when the other half of the Bruise brothers, Lyle Blackwood, number 42, inflicted the same larcenous act moments later. But Malone put forth his best Dan Marino imitation as he remained undaunted and successfully bombarded the Dolphin defense with a perfect pass to John Stallworth, number 82. Unanimous choice as comeback player of the year, Stallworth put the Steelers right back in the game with a 14-10 lead. The 65-yard reception, his 11th in the playoffs, also placed Stallworth first in the NFL record books for career postseason scores. But this season, when you talk about the NFL record books, it is Dan Marino's name which inevitably turns up. Even when the Steelers pressured him, Marino's quick release enabled him to avoid a sack. Though certainly not quick like a cat, Marino always manages to land on his feet in the face of adversity. With a hungry defense ready to pounce on Marino at any moment, and Pittsburgh having held the lead for a whole minute and a half, number 13 proceeded to prey upon the unlucky Steelers secondary and pick apart the single coverages unwisely afforded to his receivers. With Mark Clayton sidelined with a sprained shoulder, Marino connected with his other magic marker, the forgotten man of late, Mark Duper, whose 41-yard score was only his second touchdown in 11 games. In both Clayton and Duper's shadow, but nearly as dangerous as number 81, Jimmy Cefalo. Although Cephalo's touchdown was subsequently nullified, Marino shrugged it off and immediately eyed the end zone again, firing one of his patented bullets unbelievably past two defenders. When Joe Rose, number 80, came up short of the goal line, Tony Nathan applied the finishing touches to the first half scoring picture with his 2-yard plunge. Boasting a 24-14 lead at the half, the Dolphins could already taste the sweetness of victory, while the Steelers experienced the bitterness of giving up 14 unanswered points in less than 3 minutes. But that's to be expected from this finely tuned Marino-led offense, which runs on equal parts supreme confidence and superb coaching. With his team down 10 points at the half, Chuck Noll had to wonder if it was possible to stop Miami. The answer came through the skies. After throwing for over 240 yards in the first 2 quarters, Dan Marino began the third with a 24-yard needle threaded to set back Tony Nathan. Then 4 snaps into the new half, number 85 Mark Duper and his peerless partner wearing number 13 provided further proof that the Steeler defense was in deep trouble. Duper's long and lonely touchdown catch put the Dolphins in front by 17 points, 31-14. Prior to the game, Marino said he looked forward to seeing a Steeler blitz, for it would give him an opportunity to pull off a big play. Another view of the touchdown bomb reveals an all-out blitz by the Steel Curtain. It fazed Marino not a bit, as he easily exploited it, lofting the ball to Duper, who predictably had outrun the resulting single coverage. The Steelers gambled and lost. Now in danger of a blowout, Pittsburgh broke the huddle for their first offensive try of the second half, hunkered down to business, and came flying right back in the face of the Dolphin defense. Mark Malone had completed 9 passes in the first half. Unfortunately, 3 went to members of the Dolphin defense. Now on this third quarter drive, Malone hit 5 of 6, including a pretty touchdown to John Stallworth. As he had all afternoon, Malone had ample time to throw, but it was the great athletic skills of number 82 that accounted for the touchdown. Stallworth's second touchdown catch of the day brought his NFL postseason record to an even dozen, a worthy honor for the 11-year veteran who is one of the last remaining vestiges of the Steelers' Super Bowl teams. Now, with the losing margin reduced again to a workable 10 points, it was left to the new Steel Curtain to accomplish the impossible, called Miami's mastery of the air. To say their mission failed would be an understatement. Operating under perfect protection all afternoon, he wasn't sacked once. Marino would hit on 21 of 32 passes. The Steelers' secondary got their customary licks in, but always too late. On Miami's second series of the third quarter, a blitz by number 58 Jack Lambert vividly demonstrates how Marino's arm challenges a defense, even with a legend in his face. As the Dolphins drove downfield on their way to their 4th consecutive touchdown, Pittsburgh must have realized, if they didn't know already, there was no stopping Miami's air attack. Finally, on the first series of the final quarter, Marino's men scored the touchdown that put the game squarely out of Pittsburgh's reach. Like the trio of touchdown tosses that preceded it, Marino perfectly placed the pass to a gifted receiver, this time number 89, Nat Moore. For the Dolphins, it was a fifth straight series resulting in a touchdown. Moore, the player who scored it, is further evidence, along with Jimmy Cefalo, of the deep reservoir of talent that sits on the Miami bench. But it was for the man with the golden arm, Dan Marino, who passed for an AFC Championship record 421 yards plus a quartet of touchdowns, that the spotlight shined brightest on this sun-dappled day in southern Florida. The rest of the game belonged to the Dolphin defense. They had been burned badly most of the afternoon, but now applied the finishing touches on Pittsburgh's vain attempt at a rally. Mark Malone had several passes swatted down in his own backfield. But food for thought was the fact that Miami's killer bees had been stung for 455 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns, including this meaningless score with only 25 seconds left on a pass from Malone to number 80, Wayne Capers. The Steelers' 28 points were enough to win most playoff games, but suddenly Pittsburgh's season of surprise was over, ended by a Miami team that sports one of the most impressive attacks in football history. For Miami, the 45-28 victory was their 16th in 18 games this season, and their 5th straight win in the same number of championship games. Because of a young quarterback who continues to rise to every possible occasion, the Dolphins are the champions of the AFC and will play in their 5th Super Bowl in a dream match made in heaven. The last time the Chicago Bears were in a championship game was in 1963, when Coach Mike Ditka was playing tight end with a kind of intensity he now tries to instill in his players. San Francisco coach Bill Walsh has had the 49ers in the NFC Championship game 3 times in the past 4 years. And his experience in preparing for big games had to help last week, as his team faced the NFL's top-ranked rushing team featuring number 34, Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time leading rusher. On the game's opening series, Walter Payton broke a draw play for a 20-yard gain. But after that, the San Francisco defense allowed almost no space in which Payton and his amazing pair of legs could operate. The 49er linebackers closed in on the Chicago running game from all directions. Particularly active was left inside linebacker Ricky Ellison, number 50, who followed the Bears' pulling lineman until he found the ball carrier. On the 49ers' first offensive series, Joe Montana wasted little time in getting the ball to Dwight Clark, who eluded Chicago tacklers for 38 yards and the longest pass play of the game, which set up a field goal and a 3-0 lead for San Francisco. On their next series, the Bears had the ball for only 2 plays before an interception again had Joe Montana within scoring range. This time, he gave the ball to number 26, Wendell Tyler, who took off on a 25-yard run, his longest of the day. Wendell Tyler was forced out of bounds at the 2-yard line. And with a 1st and goal from the 2, the 49ers decided on a play-action pass, with Joe Montana tossing to Freddie Sullivan in the left corner of the end zone. Safety Gary Fensick's interception saved a touchdown. And after 1 period of play, San Francisco led by a scant 3 points. In the second quarter on the 49ers' next series, Joe Montana challenged the NFL's top-ranked defense with a wide variety of calls. This time in a 14-play drive to the Chicago 3-yard line. But the Bears' defense was again able to save a touchdown when All-Pro defensive end Richard Dent spilled Wendell Tyler in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. Number 14, Ray Wersching again converted the short field goal for a 6-0 San Francisco lead. In most championship games, a 6-0 lead would not seem to be much, but in this case, it seemed very large indeed, mainly because number 4, Chicago quarterback Steve Fuller, was held to a net passing total of 0 yards in the first half, while being sacked 3 times. Twice by number 95, 281-pound rookie nose tackle and ex-Olympian Michael Carter. Both defenses had played well in the first half, one team yielding no points and the other just 6. But with 30 minutes remaining, the outlook for Chicago was decidedly bleak. Clinging to a 6-0 lead, San Francisco finally felt the heat of the Chicago pass rush when Bear tackle Steve McMichael, number 76, combined both finesse and power to reach quarterback Joe Montana for one of 2 third-quarter sacks. Montana did not complete a single pass on the 49ers' first 2 possessions of the period. Instead, he fed the ball to Wendell Tyler, number 26. Tyler averaged close to 7 yards a carry, and his touchdown was a testament to individual effort as he shed 3 tacklers on his 9-yard scoring run. With a 13-0 lead, Gary Johnson, number 97, and the 49er defense cut loose a world-class pass rush of their own. During the week before the game, Chicago's league-leading sack troops received most of the media attention. But on the day of the game, the 49ers provided state-of-the-art stats, sacking Bear quarterback Steve Fuller 9 times. As a result, the Bears never got inside the 49ers' 20-yard line. In the final period, San Francisco began their longest touchdown drive of the afternoon, 88 yards, and the big play of the drive belonged to running back Roger Craig, number 33. Craig's 39-yard sprint was his longest of the season and set up a short scoring pass from Montana to Freddie Solomon, number 88. Montana managed to avoid the Bears' rush with 3-step drops and sprint outs that allowed him to get outside the sack zone before Chicago could react. A third Ray Wersching field goal upped the 49er lead to 23-0. And on the final play of the game, with no hope of victory, Walter Payton said goodbye to the 1984 season with one final effort, typical of a style that has been his trademark for the past decade. It was a season of great personal achievement for Payton and one of great team success for Chicago. Not since 1963 had the Bears come this far in championship play. But they found no satisfaction in the 23-0 defeat. The 49ers burned the Bears' league-leading defense for 387 yards and held Chicago to 37 net yards passing. The San Francisco defense had allowed but 1 field goal in 2 playoff games, but it remains to be seen if they will enjoy that kind of success in the Super Bowl against the Miami Dolphins, who have a habit of scoring at will. For Mike Ditka, it was an agonizing finale. The Bears, as the song goes, left their hearts in San Francisco. In this case, hearts left broken on the floor of Candlestick Park. They did not reach the NFC Championship game by accident. They are a team just beginning to realize their potential, even if they have to wait another full year to prove it.